Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. Every generation has a story that refuses to fade. For millions of fans across Asia, that story is Menglong, an actor whose warmth and sincerity captured hearts far beyond the screen. Tonight on Update X24H, we revisit his life, the mystery surrounding his passing, and the legacy of kindness he left behind. Menglong's journey in the entertainment world was never about chasing fame for its own sake. It was about expressing something honest, something deeply human. From the earliest days of his career, he carried with him an aura of quiet sincerity that set him apart from others in an industry often defined by glamour and competition. Colleagues recall his calm presence on set, the way he would listen more than he spoke, and the rare humility with which he treated everyone, from the lighting crew to his fellow actors. It was this quiet dignity that drew people to him, not only as a performer but as a person of depth and empathy. His performances had a rare kind of intimacy. He did not need grand gestures or dramatic words to move an audience. A single look, a faint smile, or a thoughtful pause could carry entire stories. In every role he played, there was a sense of vulnerability, as if he were opening a window into his soul and inviting viewers to see the fragile beauty of imperfection. He once said in an interview that acting is not pretending. It is remembering who we truly are. And that belief seemed to guide every choice he made on screen. Off-screen, his warmth extended far beyond the studio lights. Those who knew him describe a man who never refused help to a friend, who stayed behind after filming to comfort an anxious colleague, who remembered the birthdays of crew members when no one else did. He had an old-fashioned kindness, the kind that seemed to slow time down in a world that was always rushing ahead. It was that kindness that left the deepest impression on those around him. Even at the height of his success, Menglong remained grounded. He often said that he did not want to be a celebrity, but rather a storyteller who reminds people of tenderness. His fans loved him for that humility, for the feeling that he belonged not on a pedestal but among them. In a society obsessed with image and perfection, he represented authenticity and grace. His artistry was never about showing off. It was about connecting hearts. That is why, even after his passing, people still speak of him not only as an actor but as a light, gentle, steadfast, and unforgettable. When the news of Menglong's passing first spread, it felt as though an entire generation had lost not just an actor, but a voice of quiet strength. The world fell silent for a moment, caught between disbelief and sorrow. There was something profoundly unsettling about the way it happened, so sudden, so fragile, and so out of rhythm with the calm, gentle image he had always carried. In the days that followed, questions began to surface, not out of scandal or suspicion, but from a collective ache to understand what had truly weighed on him. Was it exhaustion, the immense pressure of fame, or perhaps the loneliness that often hides behind the spotlight? His death became more than an isolated tragedy. It became a mirror reflecting the quiet struggles of countless people who fight invisible battles while smiling for the world. Fans turned to his old interviews, finding traces of meaning in every word he had spoken. In one of his final public appearances, he had said softly, "I hope my work makes people feel less alone." That sentence, once overlooked, suddenly felt like a message left behind. It echoed through social media, where his admirers gathered to share memories, artwork, and reflections. They didn't argue about rumors or theories. They mourned him by celebrating his warmth. His passing reminded people that vulnerability is not weakness, that even those who bring joy to millions can silently carry burdens of their own. Within the entertainment community, his absence sparked a quiet reckoning. Industry insiders began to speak more openly about the emotional toll of perfectionism, about the need for empathy behind the camera. Mental health, a topic once whispered about, became a conversation at the forefront. It was as if his departure had opened a door that had long been locked. Actors, producers, and fans alike started to realize that success means nothing without peace of mind, and that compassion must extend beyond performance into everyday life. Menglong's story continues to remind the world that behind every bright image lies a complex human heart. His life and death urged society to slow down, to listen, and to care. Perhaps the greatest legacy he left was not in the roles he played, but in the questions he inspired, questions that continue to guide those searching for meaning, authenticity, and understanding in an ever-demanding world. In the quiet aftermath of his passing, something extraordinary began to happen. What was once a story of loss slowly transformed into a movement of reflection and hope. Menglong, even in absence, began to speak to people in a new way. His name was no longer whispered in sorrow, but in gratitude. Fans across the world found themselves returning to his performances not simply to remember him, but to rediscover the sincerity and compassion that had defined his art. His gentle expressions, his calm voice, and his unwavering authenticity became lessons in resilience. He had spent his life showing that gentleness could be a form of strength, and now that message resonated more deeply than ever before. For many young artists, Menglong became a silent mentor. They studied his performances frame by frame, searching for the secret behind his quiet power. They realized that it was not technique or glamour that made him unforgettable, but honesty. The courage to be real in a world that constantly demands masks. His story encouraged others to speak more openly about fear, self-doubt, and the fragile balance between ambition and well-being. In workshops, classrooms, and online forums, people began quoting his words, using them as reminders that sensitivity is not weakness, and that kindness has its own kind of immortality. What emerged from grief was not despair, but a shared determination to live with more awareness and compassion. The entertainment industry, often seen as ruthless, began to reflect on the human cost of its own perfectionism. Conversations about mental health, once avoided, started gaining ground. Menglong's legacy helped to normalize vulnerability, to make it acceptable to pause, to rest, to ask for help. Fans turned their mourning into action, creating projects that supported young performers, artists, and mental health causes, ensuring that his name stood for care and humanity rather than tragedy. Over time, the sadness surrounding his death evolved into a quiet strength that connected people from different backgrounds and countries. Menglong became more than a memory. He became a reminder that even after the darkest night, light can return through understanding. His journey continues to inspire those who feel unseen or unheard, teaching them that hope does not always roar. Sometimes it speaks softly, through acts of kindness, through art, and through the enduring courage to stay human. Today, his name continues to appear not in scandal, but in gratitude. Charity events have been held in his honor. Fan groups organize volunteer work, donating to children's hospitals and mental health programs. For many, this is the most meaningful way to celebrate him, by turning sorrow into service. His story reminds us that behind every public figure is a person with hopes, fears, and a desire to be understood. And sometimes the best way to keep a star's light shining is to let it guide us towards empathy. Menglong's life may have ended too soon, but his influence continues to inspire resilience, creativity, and compassion. He taught us that even in silence, kindness can echo louder than fame, and that real success is measured not in applause, but in hearts touched. If this story moved you, please subscribe to Detaining and join our community of viewers who believe in stories that uplift, question, and heal. Leave a comment below sharing what lesson you've learned from Menglong's journey, and let's continue keeping his spirit alive through understanding and kindness. Thank you for watching, and remember, every light that fades in the sky still shines somewhere in the heart.